program next year, we would love to host you physically here.
I'd be delighted. Thank you for that. I look forward to that.
Thank you. Thank you. So over to you, Samer.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Reggie. Well, I do believe in the space economy. I do believe in the fifth industrial revolution. So I'll be just presenting a set of projects that is reflecting my vision, and let's just start away, save time. So I called it A Tale of Two Planets. We have Earth, we have Mars, and the way along from Earth to Mars might include also the moon or any other celestial or orbital kind of architecture. So why space architecture? First of all, I would like to advise the attendees with a very quick quote by Da Vinci: develop your senses, especially learn how to see, realize that everything connects to everything else. And what I mean with everything, the economy, medicine, science.
Samer, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Hello?
Yes, we can. We can hear you now.
Perfect. So, okay, let me just restart again. So I call the presentation of today A Tale of Two Planets. Starting from Earth and going along to Mars, and all of the along the way, we will be including any kind of orbital architecture or even lunar architecture. Why space architecture? Da Vinci quote is very important at that time. He said, develop your senses, especially learn how to see, realize that everything connects to everything else. Yes, I'll be presenting a set of projects today, but the projects that will be presented today also reflects the vision of the fifth industrial revolution. It has an economical point of view. It has a political point of view. It might reflect also a new world order. It might be a utopian or a dystopian future. It depends, but let's just dig in and start.
Yep.
So what?
Sorry to interrupt, Samer. We can't see your screen now. Earlier that was visible. Now we can't see that. Can you please project it again?
Okay, is it available right now?
Yeah, now it's coming. Yeah, now we can.
Okay. Well, hopefully everything is perfect right now. Okay.
Now
So
everything fine.
the classical point of view is the extinction level event or mass annihilation or existential risks. All are these notions that reflect the same idea that we have or we should be having a plan B to face any existential risk. According to science, there are too many risks on one planet.
Samer, we cannot hear you. Only we can see your screen.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you and see your screen. Yeah,
Okay.
please continue.
Okay. Okay, so I'll be presenting the 3 steps manifesto of the community-centered design. First one was digging deep in the old knowledge and science accumulated through thousands of years to capture hidden values, intangible strengths of our human legacy. Part 2 is rethinking or redeveloping all of those values and strengths using cutting-edge technologies to create a state-of-art design that carries the spirit of the past, not in shape, but form and its experience. Last thing is documenting those experiments to pass on our traditional system knowledge developed to our future generations. So, space settlements. Why space settlements? Is it a utopian or a dystopian? Really, what we have learned from history that we are carrying both of the scenarios in all of our human course history. We are carrying opportunities and we are carrying threats as well. So this will be our transcendence. This will be our new generations. It is a must that we have to start colonizing or building settlements. Let's agree upon settlements much more appropriate than colonizing. Colonizing might be reflecting the depletion of resources, but we would like really to start life in outer space, not just about resources or money. So why the Oasis, or the project that I'll be presenting today, is called Lunar Oasis. We have learned from history that the most crucial part is having a source of water. The source of water where the flora and fauna and life start to originate. It's surrounded surrounding the source of water. The second part is nature, biomimicry, using the biodigital strategies and technologies. We have learned from nature that the nature is the mentor. All of our history we have learned from the existing life form that have started like billions of years ago before our existence. And our pioneers of architecture even reflected that vision, like Le Corbusier, the father of the modern architecture, when he said, you know, it is always life that is right and the architect who is wrong. Also, the circle as a geometry, it is embedded in our hardwired in our brain. It's about community, it's about family, it's about friends. Even the primitive tribes, when they used to gather around the fire, they are gathered in a circular formation. Most of the pop art and pop dancing are in circular formation. So the circle reflects unity, family. Even in our codes, daily codes, we say circle of friends, circle of trust. All of the previous reasons had led to the born of Project Lunar Oasis. This is the project that was awarded 3 times, starting from 2018 in Paris, and then 2020 in Kiev in Ukraine, and then lastly in United Nations Office of Space Affairs. Also, one of the natures and traditionally like agriculture on Mars, for example, and also learning of the most sophisticated kind of colonies, which is the termite colony. It is a very sophisticated, like 30 years to start to understand the ventilation system and circulation system, and how can these kind of colonies face existential risks on their scale, resisting floods, storms, and all kind of other hazards. And I can define myself as a scientist. I'm a scientist, but at the same time, I'm an architect. So I use science to produce architecture, and after producing architecture, I turned it again into science. So one of the most important papers that I have used from NASA by Mark Cohen, the NASA chief architects at that time, was the architecture program, which reflected the needs of a huge crew mission. We are talking about 60 family members, community member of scientists, engineers, and researchers. But also, we have to understand our core values. The cave was the first shelter humanity known from the Paleolithic age. It protected us at that time from all kinds of hazards, and the same applies on Moon. And I found my shelter, according to a paper also conducted by Purdue University, and they have visualized even the lunar lava caves. Lunar lava caves will be the most important to us because they will be sheltering us against radiation, gamma rays, cosmic flares, solar flares, micrometeors that will be shooting us continuously on the lunar surface. So on the left side, you can find a section of a lunar lava cave, which is a huge kind of cave due to the low moon gravity, 16% of the Earth gravity. And you can see Philadelphia City compared to the huge, massive lunar lava cave, which is a promising kind of shelters that you can house complete colonization elements inside it. And on the right part, it is a 3D visualization of the same lunar lava cave. And now was the time to take lead, and I start building a lunar lava cave based on the parameter and the data that I have already taken. And my chosen site was Philelus Crater, near to the South Pole. And it is believed that Philelus Crater and the lunar lava cave have a high reserves of frozen water, which is essential and important for the growth of the new colony. Also, I used some kind of graphic art to reflect our history. According to anthropology, there are 3 phases of colonization. The first phase of colonization is when you just find a new land and you stick your flag and then you bounce back to your home country. The second phase of colonization, when start temporary immigrants to start moving to the new colony or to the new land and explore it and try to build temporary kind of structures or shelters or outposts to start life there. And the third phase of colonization is when permanent cities start to occur, permanent communities start to gather around in the new land, but they are still connected to the motherland. And by the way, there are a 4th category. The 4th category when they grow enough to declare independence. And actually, the last one is always associated with military conflicts. Most of my work is about the third category, which is a permanent outpost for people to go and stay on moon. And you can find we have started already in 1969 the first phase, and we are witnessing those years the second phase associated with the Artemis program that is supposed to start in 2024, and maybe the Gateway project 2023, and maybe the space new gateway project also in the moon orbit. So we are witnessing the second phase. So it is believed that in few years we can start in the third phase as well. I know that there's a lot of science, there's a lot of technical details, but this is a very quick schematic view of the design of the program and the circulation and program of the colony that we was talking about. So there are many solutions. The mobile nuclear reactor, which will be the main source power, will be buried inside in the middle, in the center of the colonization, to start melting the frozen ice and start providing all of the agricultural zones and plants and the food production unit with energy. And there are two safe houses just in case that something bad happens on any sector of the sectors of the colonization, starting from an airburst or a collapse in the structure, or even the spread of any pathogenics or microbial life form that might really threat the existence of our crew members. So those will be two safe houses, one from the access from the outside of the colony, and the other one is access from the inside of the colony, but they are still, all of them are connected together. The power system. I do believe that it is very important to diversify the powering systems. So the first source of power, which will be in the building or the construction phase, will be deploying a set of solar satellites to start gathering all of the sun rays and turning it into electricity, and then beaming in low microwaves to the surface of the construction site on Phyllis Crater, that will be received by a set of antennas deployed in the perimeter of the colony. The second phase is, the second phase is deploying and start inserting the mobile nuclear, small-sized nuclear reactor. And I have found solutions in submarines reactors, and then studied the icebreakers reactors until there is I found a project also conducted by NASA, and start executing and building a new kind of mobile nuclear reactors that could be shipped and deployed in any celestial body outside Earth. The third solution of powering system is the piezoelectric power, the piezoelectric flooring. It is very important and crucial for all of the crew members to exercise for 2.5 hours per day. It is very important for their physical health, for their bone mass and cardiovascular system. So at the same time, they will be exercising and maybe having fun, maybe jogging or running, or even just dancing. And at the same time, they will be also generating energy. So you are exerting a physical exercise and at the same time generating power. The form generation, which was built upon all of the previous studies, starting from the biomimicry, the geometry philosophy, all of the philosophical constructs that was projected and discussed earlier, it resulted in this form, which will be built in 8 phases. Each phase is operable and independent in its powering system and engineering systems, just in case that it could be isolated at any time. And turning to the food production unit, or the hydroponics, or the farming system, there are 4 sets of planting system. The first one is the nutrition planting system. The second one is the medication herbal plants. The third one with the kind of plants that will be producing biofuel and oxygen bombs, which is very generous in generating oxygen for the natural oxygen for the colony. And the fourth one for gadgets like cotton or even bamboo for small furniture or gadgets that will be built using the resources raised up on the lunar. The construction methodology is the ISRU, or the in situ resource utilization, a concept discussed and founded by NASA since maybe 2012, and it is developed in 2015 and still developing, or using the local resources to build. we can't really ship everything from Earth. It is very expensive, 1 kilogram, starting from $10,000 up to $20,000, depending on the distance. So it is very important to rethink or invent something new. The most feasible way is using the local resources of the celestial body that we'll be working on. And it is something that we are inspired from nature. You can find this cute fellow on the right side, building with the ISRU concept like thousands and millions of years before our existence. So learning from nature, and also as a biomimic or biodigital strategy, it is something novel in nature. It is something founded by nature early before us, and now it's our turn to take lead. But today also we have new possibilities, we have new technologies, we have the 3D printing methods. So by blending the same two concepts, the ISRU with the 3D printing methodology, we can have a 3D printed colony. And digging again into science, and I found that the most appropriate way is the laser sintering, and even I've developed kind of laser sintering. It's called the laser melting, and it is very important on any kind of celestial body outside Earth that we don't use water. Water will be the most precious commodity outside Earth. So all of the 3D printing solutions on Earth, from contour crafting or even using any kind of concrete, is based on water. That is not feasible on Moon. So we have to invent another technologies or another methods, like the laser sintering or the laser melting. The form that we will be built is called the minimal surface, and again, it is a solution offered by nature. Nature is so generous in giving us solutions for most of our complicated engineering problems. It is the surface that locally minimizes its area, which means that it will be preserving most of our resources, most of our power in the construction phase, most of our time. So it is an ideal solution. And again, turning to science, and I found the minimal surface engineered kind of brick, which is the gyroid cube. And the gyroid cube also, I found another very interesting paper that I have used in my project conducted by the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, the MIT, and they have proved that the gyroid cube is 6 more times compressible and can resisting compression loads than the solid cube. The solid cube might might be associated with internal cracks, and then eventually it will break down. But the minimal surface cube is very resisting to loads, and at the same time it contains a lot of thermal pockets, which will be very important and crucial in the thermal insulation of the walls of the colony. We have a very low temperatures outside the colony, so it is very important to have efficient way and with using the local resources to perform the thermal insulation, like we are having like minus 130 degrees Celsius outside the colony, and we should maintain inside the colony about 22, 21 degrees Celsius. So the high difference between them could be achieved. And this is my work. I start prototyping, start understanding how can this be done. And lastly, I have invented this kind of new wall covered with thick outer plaster, which all will be performed or constructed, implemented using the laser sintering method discussed earlier. And even I have developed the 2 prototypes, the prototype A and prototype B, using the ABB robotic arms. This will be the excavator, which will be excavating dust, the lunar regolith, and then filtering it, and the prototype B, which will be using the laser sintering and start constructing the walls of the colony. We have discussed earlier the powering system, so I'll just skip that. Last thing with the hygiene part. You know, the Moon, there is no atmosphere, so there is no wind. So you are having a problem, which the lack of atmosphere, but it could also give us new opportunities. The lack of wind means that the lunar dust could be just vacuum cleaned from the inside courtyard and give our crew members a new opportunity to start walking and start exercising maybe in a new clean environment. The lunar dust, by the way, or the lunar regolith, is a carcinogenic material. It's very toxic to our human bodies, and it's so sticky to our clothes. So having a clean zone on the inside will also solve another problem, which are the claustrophobic effects, or staying in a narrow space for a long time. So people need to go outside. So I can say that this is the first urban moon or lunar kind of architecture. Luckily, the project was awarded several times, and still it is a work in progress, by the way. It is not only an architectural product, it is also a scientific product that will be turned into paper shortly. And I was also lucky enough to have this project exhibited in NASA Johnson Space Center in 2019 with the 2 versions I'll be presenting. And after all of this success, I decided also to complete the study of the Lunar Oasis and start making an Earth simulator. In 2020, I had a very important call from one of the Gulf governments. They were interested in Project Lunar Oasis, and they asked me to develop another simulator or a twin colony, but for the Gulf Desert. It will be the first twin colony that will be reflecting most of the activities used also for the researchers to conduct the researches. It's used by the designers and the architects, and we are talking about a team of designers that will be more than 150% to start in studying all aspects of design, including the human system interfaces, the engineering system, the powering systems, the ventilation, name it, all kind of systems. And also it will be used as a training facility before constructing the real colony. So that was the original Lunar Oasis that now is turned into the Gulf Oasis. But also this will be a very important touristic attraction that will start the space tourism. But I have a quote: space tourism will always start here on Earth when people start to realize that this will be the built structure before building the real one on Moon. These are just images. That was the interior, and early before the concept of the metaverse. Also the twin simulator or the twin colony will act as the meeting ground between the people or the real colony on Moon and people on Earth, using what is known as the metaverse, or a virtual kind of hybrid experience that the crew members on Moon can meet their family members on Earth, their friends, their relatives, name it, and it will be a hybrid kind of environment between the virtual and the real one. Both of the colonies, the Earth colony and the lunar colony, will be connected using a set of satellites, or what is called as data satellites, data-linked satellites. And turning from Moon to Mars. Moon, I have worked on the Lunar Oasis in 3 phases: the survivability, then the sustainability, and last one was the operational. But now it was time to develop another version for Mars with the same Lunar Oasis, but now it will be called the Martian Oasis. And the Martian Oasis is designed upon 2 phases. The autonomous construction phase will be all conducted by robotic, powered by the same powering systems, and then the operational phase, which is the arrival of the human crew. And the Martian Oasis was born. But you can find that the Martian Oasis is a bit different. We have now a set of solar panels deployed outside the colony. There are 4 gates according to the cardinal direction: the Martian north, south, east, and west. You can find that even the trees now has a long fence to use the power of the Martian wind to power and generate energy and power for the new colony. And luckily it was awarded again in Kuala Lumpur International Architectural Festival in 2019, also judged by a set of space experts. And this is another maybe a variation or a different lunar another colony, Oasis colony. But this design was based on the new environmental parameters of the Martian environment. Also, we can find that there will be a drone port. Most of the outside operations or the EVAs now can be conducted using drones instead of human EVAs. So this is a comparison, a very quick comparison. On the left side, we will be finding the Lunar Oasis. On the right side is the Martian Oasis. And again, turning to nature and starting from the last research of the biomimicry ended by the Lunar Oasis, which were the ants colonies, now converting to termite skyscrapers using the concept of the ISRU, or the in situ resource utilization. And you can find on the left part that it is a very sophisticated engineering solution. There's too many paths now for the internal pressure, for the ventilation, even for resisting all kind of floods. So it's worth a study, and for years of study, I started developing that section. You can find that there are 3 phases of a space. The first one, which is the very long airlock equipped with air showers to start sanitizing all of the EVAs. Even the hatch or the port of the airlock is attached to the external EVAs or vehicles, and there could be a direct access without the need to go to the outside surface of the Martian environment, you can find the second phase, which is the scientific labs and the agricultural labs and the food production units, which most of them are located just beneath the trees. And then there's the office and operational works. And the last part is the sleeping and living quarters. And there are two airlocks just for security. The last airlock, which is the total sanitization and the total cleaning method for the living quarters. It will be an airtight construction equipped with a membrane, inflatable membranes from side with the two layers protection. And I'm not sure if it is obvious or not, but there are a set of windows just to allow the daylight to enter to maintain the circadian rhythm for the well-being of our human crew members. The construction method is a variation from the laser sinking, which is called the lava casting procedure. It's research conducted by the ESA, European Space Agency, with a liquefier system group, and they have developed this kind of technology. And the four phases of construction start by the selecting the crater, and then deploying the solar energy to start gaining power, and putting the cardinal directions for the crew for the missions to start locating the place easily, and then starting the boring phase, which will be building most of the infrastructure of the colony. And last thing is the 3D printing and equipping all of the planting system. And with the end of phase 4, it will be ready for receiving human crew members. Also, a night lightscape study was conducted to give clues with the degrees for any outside missions. So that will be acting as the first also compass on the Martian surface to start guiding most of our crews. A very quick part or particular part of the Martian Oasis is called Tree of Life, which luckily also had received another fifth prize, which was the first prize in Mars City Design Los Angeles in 2017. And it is a developed solution using a problem actually on Mars. I have received much of my training from Los Angeles in 2017 by NASA engineers, and we were discussing an original problem or a big problem on the Martian surface, which is the Martian wind. The Martian dust wind, which is blocking most of the solar panels. It could stay up to like 6 months. So you can find the two images. The one on the left, right, it's a regular day on Martian surface, but on the right part, it is the Martian sandstorms that is covering even the satellite images. So you can understand the massive, huge size of this kind of storms. But also storms, as it is a problem, but it might also give us opportunities to use this kind of energy. It is something that we have learned from Earth, that energy or the wind is energy. It could be easily converted into an electrical system, also using the piezoelectric technology. And from this concept, I start prototyping and sketching of course, researching until I developed another solution using the vibrations and using the energy to generate energy. And that was the first prototype or the first virgin generation of the Tree of Life, self-deployable, self-expanding, with the same measurements of Falcon 9 payload rockets. And with another readings I was inspired by the hidden life of trees when I have understood that trees are social creatures, just like any kind of creature like humans. They are connected. They send messages to each other. They share resources, and the tree start to share resources with their seeds or their children first, before sharing their resources with their neighbors and then with their community. So there is a complete kind of hidden life in the trees, and that inspired me to interconnect all of the trees together to share resources and to share oxygen, to share all kind of life supporting resources. And then the second prototype, the development, which is much more lighter and mobile kind of Tree of Life, and that one was used in the previous project, and now it could be moved. But the used prototype in the Martian Oasis with a permanent structure, but the original Tree of Life was a mobile, just to locate the best opportunity for this tree to grow. Building the first prototypes and starting the testing, and the geometry was inspired to dust off all of the storm dusts that could be accumulated on the surface to allow the tree to have any kind of daylight. But in the case of some blocked rays, all of those wires that you can find on the outer surface will be lit by the piezoelectric power to just to start powering the tree, or giving the tree enough light for the photosynthesis, and at the same time give us a beautiful part of nature that that will be the first park on tree parks on Martian surface. That was during 2017. I was visiting the site in Mojave Desert to start building our prototype after the patent being registered. And luckily, it was also published in Wire magazine at that issue. A green vision for the planet Red Tree, and you can find the beautiful first prototype of the Tree of Life. And then it was exhibited virtually in UK. And conducting the research, you see, there's no one project that have ended. Each project is completed and it's a work in progress, and developing another new novel technologies to start building another biosphere that was for the UAE, aligned with the United Arab Emirates plans into 2117 UAE colony on Mars. And understanding the concept of the Silk Road, I have now presented 3 colonies: the Earth, the Martian colony, and the Moon colony. And the gap is filled each year with a new project to finish the Space Silk Road bigger vision. So Noah's Ark was one of the projects. I don't have the time really to explain everything, but it will be a heavy lifter that will be carrying most in the low Earth orbit, carrying most of our resources, seeds, embryos, even the genetic DNA, just in case something bad happens. So this will be our time capsule. And we have to understand how to connect all of those colonies. And one of the most efficient, or the heavy railroad system that we have learned from the first industrial revolution, now we will be having the space elevator, another awarded project in 2020 in Paris also. And it is a space elevator conducted on Moon to act as the main railroad, or the transportation system, with multi-stations connecting Earth, Moon, Mars, and any new celestial body that we will decide to colonize. We also have to think about the gas stations, and another awarded project, Key of Life satellites, that will be gathering all of the energy and storing it, and start producing food and connecting all of the data together with the long antennas kind. And it is also developed as a modular structure, or modular kind of satellites that will be deployed all of the space Silk Road, starting from Earth and ending at Mars, passing by the low Earth orbit and the moon orbits, low moon orbits, and in the cislunar space as well. So my vision also not only for space. We have to develop and learn space technology, because we will need it someday on Earth. My code that I teach to my students: if we possess the technology to terraform Mars, it will be the same technology that we'll be using to fight climate change or any kind of another existential risk. If we have the technology and the science and the power to turn Mars from a desert planet to a habitable planet, it will be the same to face any kind of minor problem. That will be a very easy problems compared to Martian challenges. And NASA spin-off technologies is the proof that most of our used technologies today, about 45% of what we use today, are technologies developed for space, or using space technologies. Your microwave in your kitchen, LED lamps that we all use today, from our cars to our TVs, even in our houses. Your mobile is using satellites, which is space technology. Name it, numerous kind of technologies that is developed originally for space. So the same applies in architecture. Why is the architecture excluded? And from that time, I start building a new kind of architecture, Earth architecture, with the main 8 principles, starting from the AI automation, ending to the zero carbon, zero energy, using the local resources, the robotic controlled, self-sufficient food. Why our architecture is not producing food? It should be producing food, and digitally fabricated. And these are a set of projects, Earth buildings, that was rethought and redesigned, but using the mindset of a space architecture for our not only survivability on Earth, but for our thriving on Earth and enriched. So I have projected or explained, presented my scientific journey. Now the humane part till June 2021, I was lucky enough to have my 40th award. These are the dots from the places that I have made my projects. And the exhibition maps, starting in many numerous countries in 5 different continents. And I was lucky enough to have my work presented or projected in those places, workshops as well. For the last 20 years, training more than 10,000 trainees, and switching to scientific paper, turning this architecture. Last thing that I would like to end my presentation is that those 3 quotes: the future belongs to those who dare to dream, the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams, and last thing, the future also belongs to those who prepare for it today. So we have to dare to dream and then believe to continue in our dream and start taking action to end it and prepare for it. Thank you. Thank you so much for including me, for having me today. If you have any inquiries, if you would like to connect or even to say hi, these are my contacts. And it was a very good opportunity to connect to scientific community. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Samer. That was wonderful and really futuristic. And we hope, as you said, we should start preparing now. And your preparation started decades before, and rest of the scientific community and the political leaders around the world will have faith in this and dedicate the resources for making this dream a reality in the near future. At least colonization of Moon is something where we landed 50 years ago. By now it should have happened, and for whatever reason we didn't do it, we should not delay it anymore. And next, as Michael Potter said, and also Elon Musk believes, Mars is next. So we need to see that humanity is exists in different planets, not just on Earth. And is not, as repeatedly you said, it's not just because of unsurvivability on Earth, the pandemic or the nuclear war or global warming, whatever, even otherwise. For the technological progress we have made, we deserve to be in multi-planets, not just on Earth. So there are enough of technology and enough of experience, about 20 years plus of this International Space Station, that are all brings experience and expertise to dream and make this dream reality, to start with at least colonizing Moon, then moving on to more planets and maybe more solar systems or other planetary systems and to other galaxies, maybe in the centuries later. Near future, distant future, not in our lifetime, at least in our grandchildren's lifetime, we see humanity in another galaxy also. That should be the way forward. And people like you with such compelling dream will make that possible. So we in your last slides, we have said where all you have presented. So now you have ISUW also, and also in India. So those dots we would like you to add. India was missing from those dots, green dots in your last slides. So please add that. Now you have addressed the audience from India, but in our program, there are audience from around the world actually. And we hope that we'll be able to get you here in our future programs in Delhi, and look forward to this association. Thank you very much.
Yes, I'll be looking forward to that. Thank you so much, Mr.
Thank
Raji.
you very much. Look forward to seeing you physically, and we'll take this association forward. Thank you. Good day.
Thank you. Good day to you, sir.
Thank you.